So Canada just announced a day or two ago, Justin Trudeau got in front of the country and he said, as of right now, we are stopping the sale of handguns in Canada. Now, if it weren't for me paying a little bit of attention, you would not have heard this anywhere on the news, any media here in America, and that's kind of scary. One reason is that Americans are just kind of ignorant to what's going on in other countries, but two, it happened and it was just like a thing that just happened. He just was able to get up there and just do that and ban the sale of guns. Now me, I actually don't own a firearm. I've only shot a firearm a few times. I don't really have a strong desire to own a gun, to be honest. But at the same time, I understand why the Second Amendment exists. It causes your government to at least be a little bit intimidated trying to do something stupid to screw over the people, to benefit the bourgeoisie elites. That we're kind of seeing this stark divide in, the middle class just rapidly eroding, where it's just haves and the rest of us, which are not in the government, as the have-nots. So rather than wait for something to eventuate like that, I've talked to several different people about, that are pro-gun and anti-gun, and something that pro-gun people always say that I really think is stupid and foolish is that every time you give them an inch, they'll eventually take a mile. And I think that's really stupid, because I think that it's possible to create a compromise, something that works for everyone, that makes sense, that increases safety and also doesn't villainize those that choose to own guns. Here is my thought. Now, if you want a foolproof plan, maybe not foolproof, but certainly would eliminate a large majority of, especially the stuff happening in schools, and at least lately, all of the large, mass shootings that have swept the country by storm. Two things that you can do to eliminate most of these problems. Number one, if anyone on earth has a problem with serious background checks, that's just really crazy to me. Now, should you forfeit the right to own a gun if you have a felony? I would argue yes. I really would argue yes. If you're a felon, you should not be allowed the right to ever own a gun, and that's just consequences of actions that you take. And I think that most Americans would feel pretty safe and confident with this. Now, the second thing, and this might be controversial, that first one's really not that controversial, but this is something that no one's really put out there. This is the great compromise that both sides can have. You should not be allowed to own a gun unless you are an independent taxpayer, meaning that if you are still a dependent living under mommy and daddy's roof or on mommy and daddy's insurance, which can go all the way up to age 26 in America, potentially, you should not be allowed to own a firearm. And second, if your name is not on the lease of an apartment or on a mortgage document, meaning you don't own a home or a townhouse, or you don't have an apartment in your own name, you should not be allowed to own a gun. Why? Why would I suggest that this would be a way to eliminate a large number of the mass shootings that we've seen? Number one, it requires people to be responsible. In order for you to be able to have a lease in your name, or especially own land or own a home, you have to show evidence that you're responsible. People have already done background checks on your finance, on your criminal history, and it makes it so you have to step out of mommy and daddy's wings and fly on your own. And I think the reason why this is justified is because if you're still a dependent, well, technically you don't need a firearm for protection to protect your home against an invasion, because it's not yours. If your name's not on an apartment lease, your name's not on a mortgage document, that means whatever dwelling that you're living in that you need to protect, it's not yours, and thus there should be someone else who either owns that home or is responsible for the rent in that building that should be protecting you, right? And secondly, we see, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, and hopefully this reaches enough people, But we see that a large number of these shootings are committed by either teenagers, 18 or 19-year-olds, or those in their early 20s, 20 to 24. Usually, it's just their parents still have stewardship over them, and they didn't really know what their kid was up to. This can be eliminated by just making it impossible for someone like this to own a gun. And if you agree with me, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you don't think this is strict enough, let me know what you think the country could do to come to a great compromise that would not infringe upon the rights of those who are legal, law-abiding citizens, but also prevent as many of these tragedies, these murders. A tragedy is an accident. These things that are happening, especially the last couple weeks, are not accidents. These are intentional. Let me know what you think. Feel free to share this video. I thank you, all 54 of my subscribers right now. We're trying to move that needle up to 100. If you're not subscribed and you're seeing this, please consider subscribing to the channel. As always, God bless and have a great day.